gathered here. Respected resource person, Poonam Saxena ma'am, and the patron also is present, Dr. Jayanti, all edu leaders, teachers, educators of science community, teaching community. Well, here it is an attempt made by Bharat Sahodaya. We have given such sessions to most of the other subjects as well. Poonam ma'am, we were planning so much, but we got time only now. The schedule was so hectic and tight, and we could make it only now. Anyway, most of you must have been very clear with the latest assessment scheme, but still here and there we can see lots of discussions going on in the groups, and many have doubts with regard to, especially with regard to practicals and all. So I requested Poonam ma'am to help us, and she is here once again. You must be very familiar with her. She has helped us a lot with many sessions. So thank you, Poonam ma'am, for your service, which has enlightened and enriched our teaching community. So, and all educators, please listen to Poonam ma'am. And it's always better to have a discussion rather than taking a self decision or assumption, rather I should say, on certain matters which CBSE puts forth. Let us be very authentic about the syllabus, deleted portions, and the practicals, and how to conduct first term practicals, etc., etc. So these queries will be I'm very sure will be addressed by Poonam. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you everybody for joining. Over to Sarita, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Sarita, ma'am, unmute yourself.
Ms. Sarita, please unmute yourself and. Hello. She is already a co-host and.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself, ma'am. You are a co-host. You can speak now. You can go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So before we start and commence the session today, I would like to place a request to the participants, and please note a few points for the smooth conduct of the session. Kindly be visible and keep your mics on mute. We have tried to incorporate the questions that most of the participants had asked during registration. Our resource person will be addressing those. And if there are any more, you may post them on the chat box. There's a dedicated question answer session at the end. That is in case you wish to have more clarification. Kindly note that the attendance and feedback link will be shared towards the end of the session. And a humble request to all of you to stay connected till the end. Thank you, Salam, sir, for having that welcome note. And I now welcome the Chief Patron of Bharat Sahodaya Complex, Dr. Jayanti. Jayanti ma'am is the principal of Sri Chamundi Vidyapeetham, Trivandrum. Thank you, ma'am, for your esteemed presence and giving us your valuable time. Here,
good evening.
I request Jayanti ma'am to please address this gathering. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, all. I'm so happy. Today is our the 91st web series. The participants, educators, and our resource person is our member of our family, Bharat Sahodaya, and also all the best to all the educators and resource person and moderator and my dear backbone of our Sahodaya, our General Secretary, are also welcome to this function. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayanti ma'am. And now it's time to introduce you to our resource person for today, Ms. Poonam Saxena. Well, she is the hub leader and a resource person appointed by the CBSE. Ms. Poonam is a postgraduate in zoology and education, but consider herself to be a lifelong learner. She is the founder principal of Scholars Global School, Bahadurgarh, and has nurtured the school right from the initial years of its inception. She is the recipient of Inspiring Educator Award from Rockport, not once, but twice, and was among the top 100 effective principals in the year 2016. The British Council has also awarded Ms. Poonam as a school leader to add international dimension to learning at school. We are extremely honored and blessed to have you here with us today, ma'am, and look forward to a great evening. Poonam ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Sarita ma'am, for such a grand welcome and introduction. I
Thank
feel
you, ma'am.
really elated. So to begin with, I would like to thank Dr. Salam and CBSE Bharat Sahodaya for giving this opportunity not once but several times. And as I have shared that I am a lifelong learner and I have learned so much by being a part of this group. And while addressing on the issues, whatever I have learned in my career of 23 years as a science teacher. So I'll be sharing my PowerPoint. So once again, I thank CBSE Bharat Sahodaya for giving this opportunity, this platform for sharing my views and whatever I can share and whatever I have understood of the CBSE new assessment scheme. So there's nothing, why it is not being named as new, why it is called as decoding. So it is nothing coded, but there were a lot of things we were already doing, but then it has been packaged in a little slightly different format. And the major difference is now the exams are going to be term-wise. So this is the major difference. This is what, and assessment, as I say, cannot be segregated from the way the lesson or the concept is taught in the class. So CBSE has tried to ensure that whatever learning journey a teacher and the taught is having in the class, that also needs to be assessed. So that is why there is a new assessment scheme. Normally, whatever the question paper was there, the children prepared, the teacher prepared the children to answer that, and then the scores were there. But now in this scheme, the entire journey of learning can be mapped, can be assessed by this method. So this is the school which I head. So I thank my management and the school for giving me all these things where I have learned, I have observed, I have practiced, and that has given me the confidence to understand things in a bigger picture. So as already shared, that this presentation is on decoding CBSE new assessment scheme for science grades 9 and 10. So a lot has been spoken while circulars are coming for the board exam, that is 10th and 12th. But apart from the initials, in the beginning when the syllabus was being rationalized, it was about the 9th also. So whatever we are going to talk in this presentation is mainly for 10th, and then of course 9th also, But 10th being a board class, it is very important, considered important by the teachers and the school leaders. So what is so special in this 21-22? We all are aware this year, for the first time in the history, board exams could not happen. We all know the reason, because of the global pandemic COVID-19. So then, keeping that in mind, that the CBSE thought that the things were so uncertain, that to keep that uncertainty in the mind, but then the education should not stop, the learning should not stop, and when learning is happening, the assessment should also not stop. So this new model was framed by CBSE for all the subjects. So today we are going to talk about the science. So what is the major difference is, that is, the academic session is divided into 2 terms, the first term and the second term. In the first term, approximately 50% of the syllabus will be dealt with. In the second term, the next 50% syllabus will be dealt with. And the term 1 syllabus will not be repeated in term 2 examination. So whatever is being covered in the term 1 will be assessed in term 1, and that is the end of term 1. And then we start with the term 2 syllabus, and then we conduct it in the term 2 examination. So board will conduct the examination for both the terms will be conducted by CBSE. It is not going to be a home exam. So I think this is very clear to all of us that there will be 2 terms, and the assessment will be the assessment of term 1 plus the assessment of term 2. And the syllabus will not be overlapping in term 1 or term 2. And the syllabus also has been rationalized by the CBSE. It is more or less similar than the last year's rationalized syllabus. So then I think we can conclude that board exams will occur twice. Earlier it used to be March. Schools used to conduct 2 or 3 pre-board examination. But this time the board is going to conduct the board exam twice, for term 1 for term 1, another for term 2. And then the result will not be for term 1 and term 2 separately, but the result will be the sum or the addition of the scores of the 2 terms. So now the special scheme says that the syllabus is already rationalized. It was notified in the month of July, and the syllabus has been cut, and I will be sharing the deleted portions. I will be sharing what all has to be conducted. So the theory part has been deleted, and along with that, practicals also has been deleted. So I will be sharing that, and lot of trainings have been happening from the CBSE side, the NCERT. If you go to the CBSE website, there is you will find that the NCERT has made learning outcomes for all the classes, all the subjects. So it is easier, and lot of training and teacher development is taking place for the implementation of this rationalized syllabus. As we all are aware about the competency-based education, it is the evident thing or the major change which is going to come in our education system through the new education policy. Though it was already introduced by CBSE last year during the COVID times also, but then it could not be assessed because board exams did not happen. So now in this remodeled assessment system, the CBSE or the assessments will be taking place as per the competency-based education. So competencies is not only the knowledge, it is also the skills, it is also the abilities, it is also the attitude. So the education will not be assessed only by the brain part, the cognitive part, but psycho-social, emotional development will also be nurtured, skills will be nurtured, and that is also going to be assessed. So I think this is clear to all of us that the syllabus has been rationalized. I will be sharing the term 1 syllabus and term 2 syllabus for grade 10th first. So you can see the school, the subject code for sciences in 10th is 086. And we the term 1 theory syllabus marks will be 40 marks. So in term 1, chemical substances unit will have 16 marks. And in this chapter 1, 2, and 3, that is the chemical reactions and equations, acid, bases, and salts, and metals and non-metals will be covered in this. The second unit, which includes the world of living, which is chapter 6. Chapter 6 is life processes. It will be having weightage of 10 marks. The natural phenomena, which consists of chapter 10 and 11, that is the light and the human eye, will be covered, and that the weightage will be 14 marks. The deleted topics I will be sharing after this slide. In the term 2, again the theory will be of 40 marks. The theory examination, the assessment or the weightage for the theory will be 40 marks. So in this, the second term, the chemical substances and nature, that is the chapter 4 and 5 will be covered, and that is having the weightage of 10 marks. Then the world of living, chapters 8 and 9 are a part of this, and the marks weightage is 13 out of 40. So in effects of currents, it is 12 out of 40. In natural resources, it is of 5 marks. So I think we all are aware, and most of the schools would have covered the term 1 syllabus or a partial of the term 2 syllabus also. But then we all should understand that science cannot be taught without integration of the practicals. Then only the concept building happens, and then only we call that way which we are practicing in the school as competency based, because the practical skills, the experimentation skills are also being nurtured. The analysis by concluding the whatever the data is coming, the data interpretation skills. So all these things are nurtured while we conduct the practicals. Conduct the practical means the children learn by doing the practicals or the experiments covered in the topic in the sciences. So the practicals, as I shared, should be a part of the theory classes. It should not be separate. It should not be kept in different compartments. So when the topic life process is being there, the photosynthesis is being taught, then the experiments should be conducted side by side, which shares experiments that show that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis, experiments that show that carbon dioxide is taken in and oxygen is released. So, or the product of the photosynthesis is the glucose. So all these experiments, when they are conducted along with the teaching of the concept clarity is very high. So you can see that the list of experiments which are to be done. So it should, once again, I am saying that now, since you might have covered the syllabus for term 1, but in term 2, try to integrate the practicals, take it along with the theory. In fact, in the NCERT book, there are lots and lots of boxes in which the practicals are also given, the activities are given. So those activities are actually the practicals only. So finding the pH of the following samples by using pH paper. So you can take a screenshot because reading of all this is going to be little, I'll say misplaced. So then the second experiment is on the performing and observing the following reactions and classifying them into. So when the children are doing the experiments about combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, I think the clarity of the concept will be better. That the two elements come together and there is a combination reaction when a bigger compound breaks into smaller compounds or elements, that is known as a decomposition reaction. The displacement, when one element or one functional group is replacing the another one, that is known as the displacement reaction. And double displacement, both the products and the reactants, in the two reactants, sorry, the displacement of the two compounds or the elements takes place. So I think you all will be agreeing with me, when you are doing this along with the theory, it is going to be very, very useful and fruitful for the children. Then the third experiment is observing the action of zinc, iron, copper, aluminium metals on the following salt solutions. So they don't have to mug up what happens actually. So when they will be doing these reactions, they will be finding out the products, they will be writing the chemical equation, and then learning, and you can say the connection between whatever is being done in the laboratory and the concept taught in the classroom will be, you can say, aligned, and the understanding is going to be better. Then experimentally showing that carbon dioxide, as I shared with you, is given out during respiration. That is unit 2 of chapter 6. So in life processes, this is one of the activities. Earlier, there was one more practical in this unit, and that was the making of the slide, temporary slide of the guard cells. But then that has been deleted. But then if you do it as an activity to show from where, from which pores does the carbon dioxide enter the leaf, the child will be really, really very happy to see that actually there are pores in the leaf through which the exchange of gases takes place in the leaf. That is the stomata slide. Then determination of the focal length. So again, concave mirror, convex lens, all these are should be done because children have a lot of confusion in concave and convex mirrors and lenses. So when they see it in the laboratory, when they touch it with their hand, that there is a cave, a gray cave-like structure in the concave mirror, they will understand that, okay, in the concave mirror, what will happen to the light rays, whether they will deflect in which direction, whether they will scatter or whether they will be converging towards that. So all that can be explained very well with the help of experiments. Then the tracing the path of lot of questions in the sample papers from the light are based on the path of light passing through a rectangular glass slab for different angles of incidence. So measure the angle of incidence, angle of refraction. So numericals can also be based on that. Then the second practical is the tracing the path of rays of light through a glass prism. So that is a part of the chapter 11. So then comes the deleted topics. So in our school, what we have done is we have asked the children to open the books and we have asked them to put a cross on these so that the children do not spend more time on the deleted topics. But I will agree with many of the teachers that some of the topics, even if they are deleted, but the teachers have to teach for the clarity of the concept, which is going to follow up after that concept. So it is very important that as a teacher, even though it may not be examined in the exam, but for the clarity of the concept, those topics may be taught in the classes. So you can have a screenshot of that, and under unit 1, chemical substances, so nature and behavior of metals and non-metals, basic metallurgical processes, corrosions, carbon anionic compounds. So all these things have been deleted. Under unit 2, world of living, control and coordination in animals and plants, tropic movements in plants, introduction of plant hormones. All these topics from heredity and evolution, only the basic concepts of evolution, all this has been deleted. Then natural phenomena, the human eye and the colorful eye. In this unit, the functioning of a lens in human eye, defects of vision, and applications of spherical mirrors and lenses have been deleted. Under unit 4, effects of current to magnetic effects of electric current, electric generator, DC, AC, frequency, advantage, all this has been deleted. Under unit 5, natural resources, sources of energy, different forms of energy, fossil fuel, solar energy, renewable versus non-renewable sources of energy has been deleted. And in the practicals, as I shared already, that the temporary mount of leaf peel to show stomata has been deleted. Then the equivalent, all these topics which are given in this have been deleted for this term examination in the practicals. So when you are dealing with, because these topics have been deleted in theory, that is why the practicals relating to that has been deleted. Or sometimes there will be was a repetition of a lot of practicals, so lesser have been done because of the paucity of the time, because a lot of classes have happened in the term 1 in the online form. So the schools have nearly reopened in most of the regions of India from classes 9 to 12. So that is why the practicals have to be conducted, because the concepts which were taught have to be reinforced or the clarity has to be given for that. Then coming to the term 2 list of experiments, term 2 syllabus, I had already shared in the slide where I shared with you term 1 syllabus. So now coming to the term 2 list of experiments, studying of dependence of potential difference, unit 4, chapter 12, binary fission in amoeba, binary fission in yeast, hydra, with the help of prepared slides. So this is the list of experiments which needs to be done in the term 2 experiments or the term 2 practical things. So now coming to the theory assessment. So we all have understood. I'll just repeat quickly that there are going to be 2 terms. 2 terms will be of 50 marks each. From that 50 marks, 40 marks theory, 10 mark internal assessment. In the term 2, 40 marks theory, 10 marks internal assessment will take place. So out of those 40 marks of theory, the exams will be conducted by the boards. So when I say the exams will be conducted by the boards for the theory in term 1 and term 2, internal assessment will be conducted in the school. It is going to be a continuous process. It will not happen at the end of the term examination. So when you are conducting there will be no separate practical exams. When the children are learning the concept, when the children are doing the practical in the laboratory, based on the readings which they get, based on their behavior, based on their, I'll say, the skills to observe and to calibrate the things, those can be assessed by the teacher, and how the record keeping is being maintained in the practical files. So all that can be used for the assessment of the practicals. So again, there is a lot of flexibility in that, but when we talk about continuous assessment, when the lesson is being formed, the assessment is happening, we are able to understand which concept the children have not understood, we can reteach that also. And then again, the re-exam can be given for that. Re-exam or retest or a kind of assessment. So when we talk about the theory paper, which is of 40 marks, so out of those 40 marks, the 46% of the question paper will be to demonstrate knowledge and understanding, the basic rugs of the Bloom's taxonomy. So when this will be morely for knowledge base, memorizing, and knowledge base and understanding. So it is not going to be the higher order on the, when we talk about the Bloom's taxonomy, which is a triangle. So it is at the base of the Bloom's taxonomy triangle. Then talking about the application of knowledge and concept. So next level is the application of knowledge. Indirect questions, application-based questions will be framed, which will be the percentage will be 22% of the 40 marks will be this. Then again, as I told you, competency-based education talks about touching the higher rugs of the Bloom's taxonomy, and that is the analysis, evaluation, and to create. That is the synthesis. So when the children learn to evaluate that, I'm sorry, I'll go back. When the children learn to analyze, evaluate, create, I think the concept is clear. They are able to do a lot of innovations, discoveries, inventions, and again we all say they are becoming the true soldiers of the earth who are going to solve the problem. Their problem solving abilities increase because they are not just reproducing the knowledge whatever they are gathering. So that is going to be 32%. So analyze, evaluate, and create, it is going to be 32%. The weightage will be out of 40. So this is again a good percentage. So what the CBSE has thought about behind this, no, the weaker children should not fail because they can learn, they can understand, they can memorize, and they can easily get 46%. And nobody should get 40 on 40. Only the ones whose entire concepts are clear, they should be categorized in the 40. So 32% have been given on that. So note, internal choices will be there in the question paper. So when I'm going to talk about the paper in detail, I'll be sharing what is going to be there. So internal assessment for term 1 and term 2, as I shared with you, is 10 marks each. So periodic assessment for one term is 3 marks. Multiple assessments, as I shared, whatever is happening in the class test, oral test, formula test, experiments, assignments, notebook work, you can say presentation, any kind of multiple assessment is a wide variety, wide array. Even the art integration, all that can be a part of the multiple assessment, and that is of 2 marks weightage out of 10. So you should not think कि 2 number के लिए इतना क्या. It's not about the 2 marks. It is about that how different, you can say, a variety of the experiences you give to the children for their understanding. So we all know there are different types of learners. So as competency-based or education talks about differentiated learning, differentiated assessments. So multiple assessment is a type of that one. Then the subject enrichment. Yes. So a lot of people will be confused or will be asking me, what should be there in the subject enrichment? It can be art integration, which was there till last year. But this year, the CBSE has very categorically specified practical work for science, for social science project work. For languages, it is going to be the listening and speaking skills. So depending on the nature of the subject enrichment has been given. So so there is a slight, you can say there is a marginal difference between multiple assessment and subject enrichment. So mostly the practical work has to be assessed, and that. So portfolio, it will be of 2 marks. So the portfolio has to be maintained by the student and assessed by the teacher. So all these things, please remember, these assessment will be done after, during the term, progression of the term 1 and culminated at the end of the term 1. And the next level of the term 2 assessments of internal assessment will begin with the beginning of the term 2. So I think I have clarified this point to everybody. So once again, periodic assessment, 3 marks, weightage for term 1 and term 2 separately, multiple assessments of 2 marks, subject enrichment, that is the practicals for 3 marks, portfolio for 2 marks. So all this comes out to be 10 marks. So 10 marks for term 1, 10 marks for term 2. So those children who used to study only in the end, they used to be involved in other things and they used to be absenting themselves, preparing for something or the other. So those children will be at loss, because those assessments which are continuous in progression, those practicals which are happening every day, all those assessments which are happening every day, they will be missing out on that. So when we talk about periodic assessments are the UTs, the half yearlies. So any 3 periodic assessments can be there. Either the best of the 3 can be taken, average of the 3 can be taken. So this freedom that CBSE has given to the schools. Now coming to the periodic assessments, once again, I will be sharing that again the unit tests, class tests, half yearly, any pen and paper test, and now you can have assessments in the forms also, MS forms also, so that can also be a periodic assessment when the school is not functioning in the offline mode. So that time that is possible. But then most of the schools, because they wanted the children to really be serious about that, they have conducted it in the offline mode. But in the areas where the COVID or the situation was not all that positive, so that has to be done. So again, I would like to stress on the subject enrichment activities, multiple assessment activities. Earlier, people used to think subject enrichment means art integration, role play, projects, debates, models, projects, all these things used to be a part. So that is there. It is already there. Multiple assessment, it is there. But then I suggest, this is my suggestion. This also has been done by we will find in the teachers' resources, how the teachers can use the different activities on the CBSE website only. So let's say for a topic, let's say the periodic table. So that the learning objective is arrange the elements on the basis of their properties like oxides and hydrides in order to form Mendeleev's periodic table. So that is what the objective is. The children should be knowing about the prerequisites will be chemical formulae, valencies of the first 18 elements of the modern periodic table. Of course, the textbook will be there. The vocabulary is the vertical columns in the Mendeleev's periodic table, and the periods are the horizontal. So columns are the vertical columns, periods are the horizontal rows. And the procedure, you need to make a table. I have not made a table, but then you need to make a table. In one column, atomic number, symbol, another column, symbol, electronic configuration, ion form, compound with oxide, ion compound with hydrogen, proton or hydride. So when the concept has been taught, ask the children to arrange them. So when they are writing their atomic number, when they are writing their symbol, when they are writing their electronic configuration, they will be knowing about their how many electrons are there in the each shell. So what is valency and what is the role of valency in making a compound, whether it is going to be an oxide or a hydride. So all these, whether it is going to be oxidation reaction or a reduction reaction. So all these things the child is going to, I'll say, reflect in the mind while putting it. So that is where, when the child is thinking and revisiting the concept taught in the class, then actually the learning happens during that time. So now this is what we call it as the metacognitive activity. So it is a very prerequisite of the competency-based education. So when the reflection, the children have arranged that, teacher should ask these questions. What pattern do you observe in the chemical formulas of the elements? The child will be thinking and finding out why when they will be observing the pattern. So whatever the concept they have learned, heard, read, they will be seeing it happening. So then I think the learning is going to be, the active engagement is going to be active and learning is going to be permanent. And then the clubbing of the elements. So all these questions can be asked, and then in the end, that the text to the real world connection can be built by asking, why does a Kirana store for non-Hindi speakers, the grocery store, owner keeps similar items together in the store? What disadvantage will they have if all items are jumbled? So they're all organized. So when you go, you know where to find the cooking oil, where to find the cosmetics or the toiletries, where to find the grains, because it is all categorized, and that is what is the purpose of the periodic table. So we can see that is happening. So when any concept is being taught, practicals have to be done. As I have shared, this is not in the syllabus, but then this is in the syllabus of the term 1. And then comes the portfolio. Again, I'll say CBSE has recommended e-portfolio. When I say e-portfolio, it has to be a digital portfolio. It need not be a big file or a folder where all the records, all the proofs are photostat, are kept in the real or in the photostat form. So e-portfolio is a simple, all the computer teachers can teach them, and the children in this generation, they know to create a folder either in their laptop or in their desktop or whatever device they are using. So in that folder, they can keep all the good remarks they have earned. Their good remarks can be in their notebook, where they have got a A+ by the teacher on the timely completion of the work or the timely completion of all the activities in the practical file. If the child has taken responsibility to teach somebody, or to have shown empathy, should have shown leadership, all the evidences can be kept in the e-portfolio. So in that e-portfolio, the files have to be there. All the printed form printouts can be there. Even the art integration product evidences can be there in the e-portfolio. So then e-portfolio will be created by the student, but assessed by the teacher. And we can have a activity in the PTM also. We can ask in the PTM the children to present their portfolio to the parents, so that it's a pride factor for the teacher, for the parent and the child, that I have done so many good things. It is not just a score. 32 out of 40 I have scored. I am beyond the numbers. I am an individual. I am a human. I am a student, and I have shown improvement in whatever. So all the evidences of improvement can be kept in the e-portfolio. I think you have understood the internal assessments, the different internal assessment types of internal assessment. All these can be of any numbers, but then ultimately you have to convert it into 10. So depending on the weightage which has been allocated to each type of each type of internal assessment. So why I have given that example of the periodic table, my concern is that normally whenever we say activity, in science, they think either it is going to be a practicals activity. It is when the teacher is demonstrating, it will be an activity. When the children are doing, it is going to be practical. Or when you can say, or it is going to be an art integrated project or a role play or whatever it can be. But the activities should also be done which will show reflection, which will give experiential learning experience to the children so that the concept clarity is there. When the concepts are clear, then you don't have to give n number of multiple choice tests to them. They are not memorizing them. When the concept is understood, they will be easily able to choose the options. So competencies, in the competency-based education, we all are aware the skills and knowledge are given to the learners, and that those skills and knowledge help the learner to live successfully and perform work required by them in daily lives. Then CBE has 6 crucial components. So CBE's competency-based education has 6 crucial components. Lucid learning. The learning has to be very, very, very effective. If lucid learning outcomes, so whatever the teachers are doing, learning objectives should be accomplished after the completion of the topic, after the completion of the learning activities in the class. Then the flexibility. Everybody has their own pace. So let the children learn at their own pace by doing as many activity for the concept. And then coming to the innovative pedagogies. So pedagogy is the teaching methodologies. So when the teachers are giving different learning experience, doing various using methodologies where the children are doing the things hands-on, where the children are thinking, they are forced to be a reflective learner. So then it is going to be called as competency-based education. And when the children are thinking, they are engaged. When their mind is in the class, their ears and eyes will also be in the class. Then the criteria reference testing. So it is not going to be that chapter 1 has been done. It will not be that chapter 1 or chapter 11 or chapter 6 has been done. It will be, if it is live processes, the child knows the definition of photosynthesis. Child can draw the diagram of the experimental setup to show that respiration, how respiration takes place. So it will be whatever the learning outcomes will be very, very short, where the skills will be there, the diagrams can be drawn, the interpretation of the results can be done. So that has to be taken care of, and learning outcomes have to be demonstrated. That the child should be able to demonstrate whatever the child has learned in that. So learning outcomes, learning objectives, all competency-based education, they are all in alignment. So when we frame the proper learning outcome and we link them with the learning pedagogy or the student activities done in the classroom, and the assessment is in alignment with the two, then we call it as the competency-based education. So in the when we talk about the term 1 exams, there will be questions which will be based on the syllabus which is given by CBSE, but it is going to be competency-based exam questions, competency-based questions in which the knowledge is there, the skills are there tested, and the abilities are tested. And how it will be tested? When the different teaching methodologies have been done, where the learning outcomes have been very, very specific. Specific means define, differentiate, can say draw, evaluate. All these are the different things which are a part of the topic. So the topic has to be very small, and based on the topic, the learning outcome has to be decided, the teaching methodology has to be decided, and then the assessment appropriate. This assessment appropriate to the teaching methodology has to be done. Normally, we used to use all these activities in the class, but then assessment used to be always a 5-mark test or 2-mark test or 10-mark test, or even the MCQ test also, but always in the pen and paper form. But now the assessment, depending on the activity, can be in different format where peer observation, peer assessment can be done, or the self-assessment can also be done for the activities which are done in the class. But then that is only for internal assessment. But when it is not about the marks of the internal assessment, but of the clarity of the concept, because if they will be doing all this, definitely they are going to score higher in the theory exam also. So I have given the small example about the learning objectives and learning outcomes. So let's say the example, I'll say autotrophic nutrition. Objective will be to explain the process. Outcome will be differentiate characteristics, autotrophic, heterotrophic. So when the topic is heterotrophic nutrition, the objective will be list and explain strategies. Outcomes will be explains processes and phenomena. When we say nutrition in human beings, objective is illustrate processes involved in human. The outcome is draws the label diagram of all the organs responsible for the digestive system. So I think we all have, I've given a broader picture of what internal assessments can be, though they are in only 4 categories, but we have, in order to enhance the teaching learning process, implement the competency-based education, such kind of assessments have to be taken. So now finally, we all want to know what the question paper is going to be like. So question paper for term 1 is going to be maximum marks 40, as I have already shared. Time duration will be 90 minutes. 90 minutes means 1.5 hours. And it is going to be 100% multiple choice questions. So there will be no long answer, short answer. So teachers, please pay attention that all the questions will be multiple choice questions. And the question paper will be divided into 3 parts. Section A will have questions from serial number 1 to 24. And out of these 1 to 24, 20 questions should be done by the students. Normally children have this attitude when they know everything, they solve everything and they write everything in the exam. So we have, as teachers, we have to tell them that attempt only those best 20 questions which you are very sure. Because in the CBSE, if you have completed all the 24 questions, the top 20 questions will be assessed. The last 4, even if they are correct, will be left. And if you have done in the top 20 questions few errors, so those will, your marks will be deducted from that. So it is not going to be 24, may say 20 questions any, no. It is going to be the top 20 questions. So this is the simplest section in which the questions will be multiple choice questions, and then it will be mostly knowledge based and I'll say knowledge based or application based question. In section B, the questions are from 25 to 14. So it has a variety of questions. Variety of questions means it will be having complex multiple choice questions in which the answers are not very, very direct. There are indirect questions. Then there are pictures and diagram based questions. And then the assertion reasoning based questions. So this has a 3 variety of questions. In the science exam, I will be sharing the examples to give you a better clarity. In the section C, which is from question number 49 to 60, it will have 3 case studies. Out of these 3 case studies, 12 questions will be asked and 10 questions have to be attempted. So in the seminar yesterday, it was conducted for science, for how to frame the assessments by CBSE. In that, they had mentioned there is 20% extra questions will be given. But then there is not going to be, you can do part A or part B. It is going to be out of 24, do only 20. So there will be 20% extra, 20 to 20% extra questions in the question paper. So I think again in this first 10 will be evaluated. So this is something the teachers and the students should be very, very careful about. They have to answer only those questions which they are very, very sure of. So this is the first example which I am giving. It is a normal question, a normal multiple choice question. I will be only reading the options. I will not be asking you to solve because we are here to learn what will be the different types of questions. So this question is a simple multiple choice question where the example is given, a basic solution is added to a test tube. A blue and red litmus paper is dipped into the basic solution. So what will happen to both the litmus paper? So what will happen to the red litmus paper? What will happen to the blue litmus paper? So there are 4 options given. In all the 4 options, in one, blue litmus paper changes and red litmus paper also changes the color. In the second part, blue litmus changes, red doesn't change. In the third part, blue litmus no change and red litmus changes. In fourth part, none of the litmus paper change their color. So the child has to mark the correct option. So this is a direct question. Children know the fact what happens when the red or the blue litmus paper is put in the basic solution. So these are direct knowledge based questions. They are going to be around 42% of such questions in the question paper. So this is the higher order. It is a complex type of multiple choice question, and in fact the competency based question. So the question is, the student learns that the scattering of sunlight depends on the wavelength of the light and size of the particles present in the atmosphere. The student collects the data about the wavelength of the visible lights and size of the particle as shown. So the spectrum is shown, the wavelengths are shown, the size of the particle is also shown. So then the options are which particles will scatter the blue light. So the child has to understand the question. The child has to know the VIBGYOR, what will be the pattern. The child has to understand that. So the blue light, so they should know in which wavelength the blue light will be there. So that, and then which particle, the size of the particle. So based on their concept clarity, only the child will be able to give the answer. It is not a knowledge based, it is a complex. It's a competency based question. And I think I have taken it from the sample paper itself, from the CBSE. Then coming to another picture based, a picture will be given. I have taken biology. Being a zoology, I love biology more. Little. So the question is learning objective based question. Explain the process of absorption of carbon dioxide in water in order to understand how autotrophs obtain substances necessary for nutrition. It's a basic direct question, but then picture based. But the skill is to understand the direction of the arrows. Light is coming here, carbon dioxide is going there, carbon dioxide is being produced, oxygen is giving out. Then the different options are giving, whichever is the correct option, the child has to give that. So this is another example of one example of picture based question. Then another one example. So you can say, illustrate the process involved in human digestive system in order to explain how humans obtain nutrients from food. So again, the diagram is given, picture is given. The image shows the human digestive system. The digestion of food starts from which organ of the digestive system? The options are mouth due to the presence of saliva, esophagus that moves the food in gut, that releases juices for fat breakdown, which helps in mixing food with the digestive juices. So depending on the correct answer, I will not share the answer. That is for you to decide and discuss with your class. So this can also be a type of picture-based question. So it is normally what we used to give. We used to give a picture and we used to ask, label, and maybe give the function of whichever part or that they have changed. But we have gone beyond that. So there are very similar options which will be given. So apart from telling what is the right answer, why the other three are incorrect should also be clarified to the children. That is there. So now coming to the last type, the section C, case study. I have seen in all the sample papers, one case study from different, one from physics, one from chemistry, one from biology is there. So case study, when you see, are like you can say the unseen passages in the English or Hindi papers. So a paragraph is given. A paragraph can be a newspaper item. Paragraph can be from the text. Paragraph can be from the book, in which the boxes, in which something more is given. It can be from anywhere. But then it will be having the content will be, or the concept will be related to the syllabus which is there. So, sorry, I'll go back. So in this, the paragraph is given. The paragraph talks about carbon and energy requirements of the autotrophic organisms are fulfilled by photosynthesis. It is the process by which autotrophs take substances. The material is taken in the form of carbon dioxide and water, which is converted into carbohydrates. The carbohydrates which are not used immediately are stored in the form of starch, which serves as the internal energy reserve to be used as and when. By a somewhat similar situation is seen in humans, where some of the energy derived from the food we eat is stored in our body in the form of glycogen. That means the complex substances have to be broken down into simpler ones before they can be used for the upkeep and growth of the body. To achieve this, organisms use biocatalysts. So the child who can comprehend, who can understand, who knows the concept will only be able to solve this question. The question is heterotrophs depends for energy on, it is a direct question. Autotroph produces herbivores, both A and B, whatever is there. The second question is, you can see a picture of a, you can say a polymer of a, so it is represents the mode of action of a biocatalyst. So this is a polymer, this is a biocatalyst. So when the biocatalyst acts on this, it breaks into different parts. So now the question can be the biocatalyst also can be termed as enzymes, hormones, enzymes, energy. Biocatalyst found in human saliva is amylase, trypsin, pepsin. Biocatalyst produced in human stomach is pepsin, trypsin, pepsin, amylase. So which of the statements are true? So whichever A, B, C, D, whatever is the option, the child can choose that option. So you can see that levels of complexity which is going on starting from the basic. So, but then if a child has the concept clarity, they will be able to solve. There are questions which are based on knowledge mixed with the, if knowledge is right, but then the understanding is not right, or the application of the knowledge is not right, the child will not be able to do. Then based on that only, there is another question. I will not be doing this, which is true. The statement is true. The statements have been given based on the case study. And then the options are 1 and 2, 2 and 3. So whichever the options are. So these are all complex multiple choice questions. So even if they appear that multiple choice question hai, tick, tick, tick karna hai, they are not so easy. The teachers have to go deep into the concept, whatever they have taught in the class. Another question, assertion, reason. It is of section B. Assertion, reason questions are there. So assertion is something, a belief, a statement. Reason we all know. So in this, the assertion is pressure cookers are fitted with ebonite handles. So handle is made up of ebonite. This is a statement. Reason is ebonite is strong. So the options are assertion is true and reason is true. But then both A and R are true, and R is the explanation of A. That is the reason which we have given is the explanation of the assertion. So again, complexity. It is not about ki A sahi hai, R sahi hai. It is about A sahi hai, R sahi hai, और R जो है वो A का explanation है, वो सही है या गलत है या नहीं है. So दोनों चीजें गलत है, दोनों चीजें सही है. So this is what the complexity of the simple question. Question can be simple, the statement, but then the way the options are given, they are tricky. So then this was the design of the question paper of term 1. Once again, I repeat, 40 marks, 3 sections, 60 questions, internal choices in the sections, top 20 questions to be done because they will be only assessed, and there are going to be 3 sections, and all questions are going to be multiple choice questions. So term 2, because there was so much of, I'll say, uncertainty, that is why they had different types of paper style, because they thought MCQ can be done in online form also. When the if the COVID is there, the effect is there, it can be done from school also, it can be done from home also. So that is why the MCQ, because they were predicting the 3rd wave in the month of October, November. So we all still don't know, we are all skeptical about it. So, but then MCQ was the best choice under such circumstances. But in term 2, which we all was designed to be happening in the month of March. So by the time, because of the pre-predictions that the COVID would have been under control, so then the exam, children can go to their own school or to the centers for their exam depending on the situation. And the duration is not of 90 minutes, but it is of 120 minutes. That is 2 hours. Instead of 1.5 hours in term 1, it is of 2 hours in second term. And it consists of like a normal question paper, short answer, long answer, case studies, diagram-based questions, open-ended questions, all are a part of the. So syllabus of term 2 is a pen and paper test. In case of adverse situation, it can also be MCQ based. So though it has been planned in the form of pen and paper test, but then if the adversity is there because of uncertainty, it can also be MCQ. But under all probable conditions, it is going to be a pen and paper test. So this is the link for the sample papers. If you type on any Google, write that CBSE class 10 science sample papers 21-22, they will be taking you to the CBSE. All the subjects will be there. You click on that and you will be getting the sample papers. Not one, plenty of sample papers, because it is good if you solve the sample papers in the class. The children will be, the scare for solving these questions will be removed from the minds of the children, because they will be doing with the help of the teacher. So this was about class 10th, and I think class 9th is also going to be in the similar form as 10th, though no very direct things are being said, but then it has been recently said that 9 to 12 the exams will be conducted by the CBSE, but still no definite circular for class 9th has come as yet. Maybe in a near future they will be coming. So the syllabus I will be sharing. Again, this is the rationalized syllabus for term 1 and for term 2. I will not read out. You can take a screenshot. Again, term 1 of 40 marks of theory, 40 marks of term 2 for theory. The same goes with the internal assessment. 10 marks for internal assessment in term 1 and 10 marks for internal assessment in term 2. So that is going to be the breakup of the question paper or the marks. Sorry, once again, I'll go for this. The weightage of in this, the chapter 2 is of 9 marks. Chapter 5 and 6 are of 18 marks. Chapter 8 and 9 of 13 marks, total 40 marks. So I have just explained so that you can understand 9M means 9 marks. That is there. So there is one topic which is natural resources, which is only to be covered in the internal assessment only. It is not will not be covered in the theory part. So this chapter 14, natural resources, physical resources, all these will be a part of the internal assessment. And once again, I will say practicals to be conducted alongside the concept taught in the theory classes. So if you are taking it separately or in the timetable, you may have one period for practicals, but then I would suggest the teachers, whatever topic you are teaching, you can take the children and cover that in the laboratory, so that whatever you are speaking and whatever they are seeing in the laboratory are in alignment. So then the understanding will be better, and that is why we will say it is going to be competency-based education. So the list of experiments is given. So you can again take a screenshot. I will not read out all that. This is for term 1 and this is for term 2. So term 2 is a smaller term. So that is why they have given lesser practicals. I think then the deleted portions of class 9 under unit 1. So all these topics are deleted. In unit 2, these topics are deleted. In unit 3, these topics are deleted. In unit 5, so I'll say, let's say in unit 5, food production and improvement in the food production, improvement in food resources, plant and animal breeding. These topics from this chapter are deleted. So don't think that the entire chapter is deleted. These topics from this chapter is deleted. So that will help you understand better. The practicals like in class 10, so these have been deleted. So this is the list of the practicals which have been deleted from class 9. So I think once again, I have explained class 9th and class 10th very clearly to you, the deleted portions, the practicals, sorry, how they are connected to each other. So once again, the teachers should continue teaching in whichever mode they are teaching, either whatever the authorities are permitting, either in online mode or in offline mode or in hybrid mode. Whatever mode is possible, teachers should do that. Now the practicals can also be done through OLAB. OLAB is an online lab or a digital lab where all these practicals can actually be done in the online platform also. So OLABs are introduced by the CBSE only. during the COVID times. But then I think most of the area, the schools are open, so nothing can replace a hands-on activity. So I think we all should do that. Internal assessment again, throughout the year. So term 1, 10 marks, term 2, 10 marks. So 3 periodic tests, average or best of the 3 can be taken. Student enrichment activities, e-portfolios, practical work, all these things are to be assessed as a part of internal assessment. So the schools should create a student profile for all assessment undertaken over the year and retain the evidences in digital format. So this was said in the circular. And it was also told that the CBSE will be giving a link where they can be uploaded. But I think in case of when the CBSE wants, then only they will be asking for that. But then as a school, we should keep it in the digital format, not files on files, but then the e-portfolios. What I will suggest, what we have done in our school is, the class teacher has asked the children to make a e-folder and share them through the email. And she has created a Google Drive in which all these folders are put. And the children can access their own folders, but not touch the folders of e-portfolio of other students. And when they are updating their e-portfolios, the school record is also being created like that. So digital format, all this needs to say. Till today, so far no link has been done to upload these marks internal assessment. I think very soon it will be done for the term 1, because term 1 and term 2, whatever marks will be coming, since it is going to be a mixture of the two, term 1 and term 2, so term 1 marks will be kept safe with that CBSE, and when the term 2 will be there, so that will be added up. So it is not that the internal assessment marks of term 1 will be asked in term 2. This is what my personal perception is. Term 1 in term 1 only. That is there. Because then only the children will be regular, then only the teachers will be regular. Otherwise, what they will do is just give the marks without conducting the practicals, without conducting the activities, without conducting the test. So that is why the evidences have to be maintained by the by the schools themselves. So the board has given all the resources, ample assessments, question banks, teacher training, all this is happening, and there are so many platforms, Diksha platform, Nishtha platform, where the teachers can be self-learners and explore anything under the topic, whatever the new is being done. And then CBSE academic site is again, I'll say, a fruit-laden tree. So the moment you will touch that, you will always grab one fruit of learning from there. So all whatever I've spoken, you can find it there or on different platforms. So term 1 examinations will be organized by CBSE. Unlike the, you can say, unlike those exams, periodical tests, which have to be conducted by the school, term 1 examination, that is the 40 marks theory exam, will be conducted between November and December. So I think we all are aware the LOCs have already been submitted by the schools. So very soon we will be getting the date sheet, at least a month prior to that. So the window period of 4 to 8 weeks. So when this plan was shared with the schools, the COVID was there already. The vaccine had just begun, but then the effect of the vaccines are visible and the rate at which it is going down, I think things are under control. But at that time, it was told that depending on the status of that state or that district or that area, region, the exams will be in the window period of 4 to 8 weeks. So now we are not aware whether it is going to be in the same way, but now most of the India and all the schools from 9 to 12 are open. So let's see, and we are waiting for that direction to come from CBSE. So meanwhile, we can prepare our children for the multiple choice questions, including case-based, reasoning-based, and again 90 marks. So 50% of the entire syllabus is there in term 1. So a question paper will be sent by the CBSE. This is one option in case of the scenario. The exam can be conducted under the supervision of external center superintendent or observer appointed by the CBSE in the school. So there are various options given by the CBSE. So again, marks of term 1 examination will contribute to the final overall score, and the responses will be taken in the form of OMR sheets. So I will share what OMR sheets are. So that is why even if we are doing the children are taught well, but then attempting the OMR sheet is also a skill which has to be taken up. So after scanning, these sheets may be uploaded on CBSE portal, or alternatively may be evaluated and marks obtained, uploaded by the school on the very same day. So it is all, we can say, in the formative stages. This was announced, but the final directions has to come from the CBSE. And I think CBSE is also waiting for the things to settle down and fine. So this is an OMR sheet example which we have taken for our school for the practices. So which we can do. So we can have the capital names in information, the subject code, the student name in letters, the roll numbers. We have taken the admission number because the roll number, class roll number is only of 2 digits in a class. So we have taken the admission number so that the children get a feel of the roll number. Then the exam date and the class. So the 60 questions are there. The options are A, B, C, and D. So this is one which we have done it for our daily practice on all that. But then this is has been shared by Dr. Abdul Salam sir only, talking about how it is there. There are general instructions. So in the midterm, term 1 pre-board examination first. So name of school and school ID, class and section, subject, day and date of the examination, all this has to be filled. The general instructions are, the student is advised to read the instructions carefully and answer the questions by darkening. So darkening means usko dark karna hai. Black pen se ya blue se. So for each question, darken only one circle. So you can see there are 4 circles, 1, 2, 3, 4. So only one circle needs to be, whichever the option is, A, B, C, D. So whichever the option is, the child has to circle that option according to them. It should not be rubbed. It should not be cut. As you can say, this is a wrong method in which a dot has been put, in which a cross has been put. All these are wrong methods. The correct method is putting a dark here. Then more than one circle is found darkened, the answer will not be evaluated. So the question will be invalid. And if you remember, I told you out of 24, top 20 will be given. So in any of the question, you have done this double answering, it will not be evaluated. But then top 20 questions would have been covered. So the child loses that opportunity also. Then cutting and overwriting the answers are not allowed. If any student submits the blank response sheet, it shall be crossed by invigilator with his/her signature mentioning cancelled on that. So you can see this is a student signature, invigilator, the examiner who will test all the things they have to fill in the marks. All this has been done for the invigilator, for the examiner. So invigilator is somebody who is invigilating, doing the duty, helping the children to do the exam. Examiner is one who is assessing it. So since it did not come in one go, it is a part of the same OMR sheet. The name has to be here. This is the entire alphabet. A, B, C, D till Z, it is given here. So if my name is Poonam Saxena, so I will write P-O-O-N-A-M. So wherever the P will be in this, I will darken that P. Then O, wherever the O will be, I will be darkening that, again that. So that is how the children have to be trained to fill in their names in the OMR sheet. Then same with the ID, school ID, roll number, whichever class which is being done, and the responses whichever is being done. So it will be similar to this, not exactly like this. So I think CBSE is going to share, and if you see the sample papers done by different publisher, they all have given the OMR sheet in their own perception. But then if we train them where to color, I think they will be able to solve. That is also a skill which we are enriching them while we are training them for this.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Let's have a disclaimer. Actually, this is not by CBSE, as Madam has said. This is not by CBSE, but released by Director of Directorate of Education, New Delhi.
Yes. Yeah. So I am very clearly said that it is just an example.
Yes.
So whatever, so that we can train our children what an OMR sheet is all about. So that is all. This is just an example I'm telling you. The previous one also was from my school I am using to train my children. So this is what I have given the example. So please have this very clear in your mind. So again, term 2 examination year end. So this will be again organized by CBSE. It will be in March, April. So question paper I have already shared. Will be all these case studies, situation based, open-ended, short answer, long answer, pen and paper, 2 hours, 50% of the new syllabus. So whatever has been done in term 1 will not be repeated. So in the situation which is non-conducive, again an MCQ based can happen. So again, there are a lot of things will be clear only in term 2 only. So these are the different situations in which the board has given. So pandemic improves. So centers are ready. The schools are ready. Board would conduct term 1 and term 2 in schools or in center. The theory marks will be distributed equally between the 2 exams. That is 40, 40 plus 10, 10 internal assessment. So what is going to be the final report card of a child? The final score will be term 1 plus term 2 plus internal assessment. So internal assessment is all the periodic tests, all the multiple assessments, subject enrichment activity, practicals, multiple assessments, e-portfolio, all that is going to be the report card. Will not only be grades, it is also going to talk about the internal assessments there. They may be descriptors also. Then coming to the assessment as per the, again, in the situation, when the pandemic forces complete closure of schools during November, December, but term 2 exams are held at schools or center. So term 1 will be MCQ based, would be done by students in online or offline mode. The weightage again would be the same, 40-40 for term 1 and term 2 for theory exam. In another situation, when the pandemic forces complete closure of schools in March and April, but term 1 are exams in held in schools or centers, the result would be based on the performance of term 1, MCQ based examination and internal assessment. So term 1 is very important. If term 2 doesn't happen, then the doubling of the term 1 will happen. So this is also something which we all need to take care of and keep aware of that. In case the situation of the pandemic forces complete closure of schools and board conducted term 1 and term 2 exams from home, so result would be computed on the basis of internal assessment, practical, project work, depending on the subject. Theory marks of term 1 and term 2 exam taken by the candidate from home in 10th subject to the moderation or other measures to ensure validity and reliability of the assessment. So I think we all are prepared. The CBSE has designed it so beautifully so that the children are given due, I'll say, weightage to all the things they are doing even while they are learning. So the assessment is happening while they are learning. It is not that the assessment of learning, but it is the assessment for learning and of learning. So with this, I would like to say that assessment is a continuous process. And when the lessons are being taught and the formative assessments are being conducted effectively, students learn at roughly double the rate than they do without it. So all my dear teachers, you should not take this as a burden. Conducting the activities, giving them using different teaching methodologies, assessing them in different variety or in different dimensions. That is all helping the children to evolve. That is what competency-based education is. And that is what the real meaning of education is, not to just test the knowledge, but then help them to become individuals, to use their knowledge and skills for the problem solving of the world's problem. So they become global citizens. That is what the aim of education is. They become compassionate citizens. And I'll say responsible citizens, proud citizens of India. So that is what, with this, I conclude my remarks. So thank you, everybody, and everyone for patient hearing. And I am open for the question answer round. So I'll be sharing my screen. So over to you, Sarita ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Poonam ma'am, for that wonderful session. And even though we have got the sample papers released by the board, and we know in which direction we have to move, I'm sure this wonderful session of yours would help teachers and other educators present here to help clarifying any kind of slight doubts they had, and also to get a better insight into the whole process.
Thank you.
And it was really an in-depth explanation, ma'am, about the remodeled assessment structure. I'm sure all our participants would have enjoyed this amazing session. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, as you said, we'll take some questions. So we have collected some questions that were done during the registration. So here I have some, ma'am.
Yeah.
The first one is...
Sarita ma'am, before that,
Yes, ma'am.
there are lots
sir.
of questions about art integrated project during term 1.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, please ask the question, or should I proceed with the...
Yeah, madam, I think let's answer this. Is there art integrated project during term 1?
As I told you, sir, in term 1 and term 2, art integration has been kept in a part of the multiple assessments or subject enrichment. So when that lesson is being taught, so there is no separate category of that. It is a part of the internal assessment only. But I am sure that when we talk about competency-based education, art integration of, in the different subjects or in sciences is also a part of the clarity of the concept for that. Because again, the thing, reflective thinking is happening when they are integrating the art or expressing their concept in various art forms. So for the clarity of the concept, though it is not like in last year, it was separate art integration. Right from grade 1 till grade 12, whatever was done, the data was taken up by the CBSE. But this year, they have kept it as a part of the multiple assessment or in the subject enrichment activities. That is it.
And also there is another question.
Yes, sir.
By 20th of October, art integration action plan needs to be submitted. Right. There is a question. Art integration action plan needs to be. I have
not come across this from till 20th October. This any circular has come. I am unaware of, sir.
Yes, yes, madam. There is.
There is.
School can upload. Yeah, school can upload their action plan.
Yeah,
and when it is asked, you have to keep the documents, evidences ready.
Yes, but then, sir, as I shared with you, action plan is like when, see, we have, being a teacher, we have been in the practice of chalk and talk. So when we have this action plan in place, we will be conducting those activities. So when those activities will be done, the concept clarity will be there. That is there.
Yes, Sarita ma'am, go to the questions, please. Now, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am, for having those questions answered. And these are the ones which were collected during the registration, ma'am. I have the first question as how students can be assessed effectively as per the new scheme.
I think my entire presentation was about that only. See, the children, when the teacher is teaching, again, then by open up those pen and paper tests as the form of periodical tests, they are being assessed. When they are using different methodologies, so children are being assessed when they are doing their art projects or they are doing presentations, they are being assessed. When they are conducting the practicals, they are being assessed. And whatever good things they are gaining, all the skills which they are enhancing, that is being assessed in the form of e-portfolio. So I think it is a 360-degree assessment of the child by assessment. So it's not only the cognitive part, but also the psychosocial domain and the emotional domains of the students, which is also being assessed while practicing that. And the skills are also being tested when we talk about the practicals that is there. So I think you all have understood. So pen and paper test is also being tested, and all the skills and the different aspects of learning is being assessed effectively if we are I'll say mixing the learning with the assessment. When we are aligning the assessment with the student activity or the teaching methodology, that is there. So I think I have made my answer clear. Sarita ma'am?
Yes,
Or
thank you, ma'am.
Clarification.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And here I have the second question, which was quite interesting, I would say. Why there should be a change in the assessment of science subject only? Why not other subjects?
I think this is a question itself is wrong, because remodeling has happened in all the subjects. So today the session is about science, so we have discussed that. So social science also was conducted last week. I think that was also a remodel thing. So remodeling has happened for all the subjects, but then depending on the subject, the internal assessment or the type of questions are slightly different, but then the paper pattern is almost similar in all the subjects.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Here I have one more question. What was the purpose of changing number of questions in different subjects? Won't it be difficult for the students to score high?
I think as far as I am aware, ma'am, there are 60 questions in almost all the paper, and I already said that the 20% extra questions are there, and rest is a choice which the children have to make. So I only in all the subjects, the question consists of 1 mark, except for maths. There is a little slight change is there, but I think there is no problem, because the children are taking the test question by question, subject by subject. So there will be no confusion about that. They are focusing on finding the right choice of the multiple choice questions which are given to them. So I think that if the content has been dealt with effectively, they will not be confused. That is that.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, there's one more question which says, how to help children prepare from the vast syllabus, how to create effective case studies on different concepts.
See, syllabus cannot be called vast. I have already shared, it has been rationalized. It has been broken down into 2 terms. So it is not that end of the year they will be doing the entire book. So I think whatever best and student friendly the CBSE could have been, CBSE has shown that. So I will not say vast syllabus, but if we deal each chapter, covering each and every line and topic of the NCERT book, whatever is the part of the syllabus, conducting the right activities, I think, and conducting the assessment side by side. It is not to be towards the end of the chapter test. What is the best is doing the assessments while the children are learning. So then we know that which topic needs to be retaught again in the class. So that is what I'll say. So it is not a vast syllabus, but then yes, by using different teaching aids, by using different strategies, new pedagogies, student-centric education. So I think all this will help, and the syllabus has to be covered only 50% till this time. And I think most of the schools would have done that. And what was the next part of the question, ma'am? I'm forgetting that. Next part of the same question. Ma'am, please unmute. Sarita, ma'am.
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, how to create effective case studies on concepts?
See, case study are story-based. So again, as I told you, cases when the concept is clear, when we know about any topics, let's say pollution, for example, I'll say. So the passage can be taken from the newspaper, passage can be taken from any book or any news item on the social media. And then whatever topics, as I explained in my presentation, the questions can be direct or indirect. So case study questions, the best is you find the passage or I'll say the current news or whatever, covering any topic or any concept. And based on that concept, you frame the questions which have the answers in the passage. So that is how we can frame good types of case study questions.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that clarification. And I would like to have one more question. How to design a right question paper and provide feedback, identify the areas of improvement for a large group of students after each assessment?
Yes, see, when we say large group of assessments, I think now technology has really been very handy for the teachers. They can make the paper in multiple choice on MS Forms or Google Forms and multiple choice, and then the analysis can be done. So that and it is auto checked also, and the analysis in the form of pie chart or the bar graph is there, which question was attempted maximum or correctly by the children, which was the maximum wrong. So based on that question, based on that topic, the teacher can reteach the topic or teach it in a different ways for that. So I think the best way to assess a large group is using the technology by using the Google Forms or MS Form, whichever platform you are on, and they are auto checked also, so you don't have to check. And multiple choice questions can be used for that. And I think now the uploading questions are also possible. A lot of things are possible in the same format. So in one go, the paper is done and checked by the, I'll say by the correct options filling in the forms also. So I think I have answered the question, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, thank you so much for that bit of clarification there. Here I have one more last question, ma'am. Will there be a session for class 12 also?
That is Dr. Salam sir's department. That is not my department. So sir will plan out for 12th also. We have had for 12th for art integration, lesson planning also, all that has happened. So I think sir will answer this question.
Yeah, we can have, ma'am. Later we can have. Sarita ma'am, can you read the questions from the chat box? Lots of very important questions. You can take 2 or 3 questions. Madam, one question is about will the board be sending questions for grade 9 also?
I think in my presentation, sir, I had said that it has been said that the board will be conducting, but no such very clear instructions are there. But then from 9 to 12, it has been said that the board will conduct the exam. But whatever information is coming forward, it's coming for 10th first. So, yes. So let's wait for the instructions to come from the board.
Yeah, and so far I think we grade 9 school can opt for conducting the examination. That is what has been happening. Many schools I think might have conducted their first time exam also for grade 9. But of course for grade 10 definitely the board will conduct. And regarding portfolio, it's subject wise and the students have to maintain their good work in all the subjects. Is it so? Can I get a clarity regarding the same?
Yeah. See, as I told you, each subject has marks for the e-portfolio. The weightage was there from that. I think 2 marks were for the e-portfolio. So it's in sciences, it's in social sciences, it is in other subjects. So I think what would be good that the child can make one portfolio and have different segments or different files for each subject. So that is going to help. So whichever subject they want, we can open that file in that portfolio. So I think
yes, that's correct, ma'am. That's very good. Any more questions from participants? You can raise your hands. We will unmute you. You can ask Poonam ma'am. Any questions? Miss Soni, you can ask.
Good evening, ma'am. It was a good, informative session. I had one question. I have 60 questions, and from the sample, I have taken that there are 10, 13, and 4 for chemistry. I'm a chemistry teacher. And the marks that is allotted for chemistry is 16. So can a child choose more chemistry than biology and physics, or vice versa?
I am, the voice is echoing.
I have put this question in the chat box also. Now we've said you have given 60 questions.
Yes.
Correct? And the child is supposed to answer only 40.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now the breakup that you had given is 16 marks is for chemistry, depending on the chapters that you have given.
Ma'am, see, in 10th class, it is science. It is not physics, chemistry, biology.
Correct. So the child can choose more than in any
Yes,
form,
yes.
any form, chemistry,
Yes, ma'am.
biology, or physics, whichever the child is comfortable
Yes,
in, right?
ma'am. That is true. You are right.
The child can choose whichever the child is comfortable in.
Yes. Out of those, in the section A, out of 24 questions, any 20.
Any 20 of any bifurcation the child can choose.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes.
Any more questions? Otherwise, let's, Sarita ma'am, let's wind up.
Okay, sir. So shall I move forward with, okay, Neha Sant, Ms. Neha Sant.
My question is there any reading time provided for the students in this 90-minute time?
Yes, ma'am. Yesterday only I attended the session from CBSE regarding framing of this multiple competency-based questions. In that, they said there is going to be 15 minutes, like always. So apart from those 90 minutes, there is going to be 15 minutes for reading time.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Sarita ma'am, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you, ma'am, once again for answering all those questions. And as we come to the end of this session today, I would like to take the privilege of proposing the vote of thanks for the day. Let me first begin by thanking our resource person for today, Ms. Poonam Saxena, for such a wonderful session. You have clarified all our doubts and also have given us an in-depth knowledge about the science subject. Thank you so much, ma'am. My most special thanks to Dr. Abdul Salam sir for all the effort he puts in for the betterment of educational fraternity. Also, my humble gratitude for assigning the task of moderator to me for today's session. It was indeed a great learning experience. A special thanks to Jayanti ma'am for gracing today's session. Thank you, ma'am. And a big thank you to our technical team for the day, Mr. Arun Mohan sir and Mr. Rafat sir, for providing us all the technical support for today's session. Thank you all the educators for attending and being a wonderful audience. We hope you have learned and gained a deeper understanding of the remodeled and the restructured CBSE assessment scheme. Before we wind up, let me remind you once again that the attendance and the feedback link has been posted on the chat box. Please ensure that you have all filled it up before leaving. That's all from me. Thank you all. Thank you once again. Take care. Stay safe all. And over to you, sir. Salam, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Sarita ma'am, for the help you have extended throughout and for the job you have done very nicely. And also, I would like to thank Sarita Warrior, who is also here, was helping us a lot in the process. And much obliged to Poonam Saxena ma'am for, I think this is the 5th session you have, fifth or sixth number, is not a matter, but your contribution matters a lot. So the session was self-explanatory and has cleared all the clouds from the minds of the educators, and this is going to be very helpful in conveying the matter information to the students as well. So let us communicate to the students in the giving the very proper, right answers to their questions. Let us not have any more guesswork, speculations and all. Thank you so much, Poonam Saxena ma'am, on behalf of Bharat Sahodaya, office bearers, and all the educators who have joined. Thank you so much. Being connected, and we will look forward to your contribution to the education sector so that we can work together to strengthen the our great nation. Thank you so much, and have a good day. And Poonam Saxena ma'am, if you would like to have anything, you can.
I'm really feeling so grateful that I got this opportunity to share whatever my understanding is. And I think if it benefits the students and the teachers alike, I think our job is done. And I think this CBSE Bharat Sahodaya is doing a wonderful job. And I would like to congratulate Dr. Salam sir and his entire team. And I think in my school, it has become the most popular groups. They keep on talking about and they keep on praising about all the things which are shared, which is a completely professional group, which is the best part of it. So thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity. Thank you. And best wishes to all the teachers, teaching fraternity for the